News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And a wonderful morning to you. This is Newsline, live as always from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And today was a middling day this morning. It had rained the night before. The roads are still wet, but it's looking promising. As indeed, justice in Sri Lanka is looking very promising indeed as we wake up the day after the verdict was given in the unfortunate Vidya rape and murder case in Jaffna. And to discuss that and other matters is Mr. Hemanta Warnakulasuriya. Jolly good morning to you, Mr.
Very good morning, Maharaj. Very good morning.
And thank you for being here. And let's go straight and join Azra Asan, who recorded this for us yesterday.
The rape and killing of Sivalokanath Vidya on the 13th of May 2015 shocked the entire nation and sparked several protests across the north. Well, the final verdict of the court case was given at the Jaffna High Court this afternoon, and the court proceedings ended at 1:25 p.m. According to the judgment given by the three judges, accused number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 and 9 was sentenced to death with 30 years of vigorous imprisonment. They were also ordered to pay 1 million rupees of compensation to Vidya's family. Accused number 1 and 7 were released. The accused who arrived in the courts this morning at 8:30 were presented before a three-member bench. The three-member bench was headed by Vavuniya High Court Judge Balendan Shashi Mahendran, Jaffna High Court Judge M. Ilanchelian, and Trincomalee High Court Judge Annalingam Premachandran.
Death sentences were handed down to 7 accused connected to the abduction, murder and gang rape of Sivalokanath Vidya. The verdict was delivered by a 3-judge bench at the Jaffna High Court today. The bench consisted of Jaffna High Court Judge M. Ilanchelian, Trincomalee High Court Judge A. Premashankar and Vavuniya High Court Judge Shashi Mahendran. The accused in the case were brought to the High Court premises this morning under heavy security, and the verdict was delivered at around 1:25 p.m. Prior to delivering the verdict, the judges granted an opportunity to the accused to speak before court. They all pleaded not guilty to the charges. As the 4th accused in the case, Mahalingam Sasidharan alias Swiss Kumar declared in court that he is not guilty, Vidya's mother fainted in court. The final verdict was delivered by the chairman of the 3-judge bench, Balendran Shashi Mahendran. The verdict notes that the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 8th accused in the case have been found guilty of the charges. Thereby, Poobalasingam Jayakumar, Poobalasingam Thavakumar, Mahalingam Sasidharan, Thilenathan Chandrahasan, Shivanesan Dushanthan, Jayanathan Kokilan and Mahalingam Sashikumar alias Swiss Kumar were sentenced to death. The 7 accused were also ordered to serve 30 years rigorous imprisonment. The 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th and 8th accused were fined 40,000 rupees, while the 4th and 9th accused were fined 70,000 rupees. Failure to pay the fines would result in an additional 4 months being added to the prison sentence. The trial at bar also ordered the 7 accused who were convicted to pay a sum of 1 million rupees each to the family of Sivalokanath Vidya. Failure to pay this would result in 2 years being added to the prison sentence. The first suspect, Poobalasingam Indrakumar, and 7th suspect, Rupasingham Kuganandan, were freed of all charges due to the lack of evidence to prove their actions beyond reasonable doubt.
And that's a wrap of special report for Newsline. Signing off for now for the Newsfirst team, I'm Azra Asan reporting from Jaffna.
Thank you to Azra Asan there. And there you are, Mr. Warnakulasuriya, lots of hope for our judiciary.
Now this also gives a clear signal to the international diaspora and the international
watchdog
community that we can deliver justice.
Indeed.
Our judges can handle any matter, so there was no necessity for us to have any foreign judges. I must say that the speed with which this was concluded is amazing.
And you're forgetting in your praise, you're forgetting the fact that it was President Sirisena who said that we must have a speedy justice system.
Yeah, I believe the credit part goes to the President himself and also to the Criminal Investigations Department. This matter, as you know, after this rape occurred, there were several politicians.
Yes, that's right. And the judge has, one of the judges has mentioned that the High Court Judge of Jaffna, Mr. Lanka, pointed out that State Minister Vijay Kala Maheswaran's actions to release the 9th accused, the so-called Swiss Kumar, when he was captured by the civilians in Velanai, had helped him to escape from police custody.
No.
What on earth are politicians doing?
Yeah, no. This is very, very important. Now, Shashidharan, Ms. Mahendran, has been directly referred to in the judgment. So, what action are we going to take about her? Now, this is very, very important. This is if she actually went to the scene where this man was arrested by the people and was tied, and when till the police came, she came to the scene and released them.
I mean, they were making a citizen's arrest.
Yeah, that's right. So now this clearly shows whether it's the Sri Lankan politician. This is also a good lesson to the Tamil diaspora. I mean, this is the kind of justice that the LTT has been messaged up to their supporters. When their supporters kill, no problem. When their opponents kill, they shoot. So therefore, my position is not only we must raise our hats to the Criminal Investigations Department, we raise our hats to the Attorney General's Department, especially again the name of Dappula Divera comes to my mind. He is the person who went and opened the address in spite of grave threats to his life. He was able to have sleepless nights and present the case with his team of other officers. So this Attorney General Department is coming for praise. I mean, with the bond scam, with this incident, and therefore also the judges. I must tell you something which most people do not know. Justice Ilanchalian was targeted by a certain website. Why? Because of this case. And they posted absolute false information,
rubbish, isn't it?
Garbage in Tamil in a website uploaded from Norway. Now from Norway, and why they want to stifle justice? They want to ensure that Ilanchalian would discharge these accused. And what happened? Luckily, at that time, Ilanchalian was able to contact the then Chief Justice, then Chief Justice, and then thereafter they contacted the TRC, and we were able to ban that website. Now this shows with what difficult circumstances these judges work when there are politicians, there are politicians supporting.
I'd like to examine Mr. Ilanchalian's spine.
Yeah.
It must be made of wonderfully hard material.
Yeah, we must be really proud of, really proud. I mean, Mr. Ilanchalian, when you remember, entire country, whether the extremist Buddhist, Sinhala, racists, they all came in praise for the manner in which Mr. Ilanchalian defended and safeguarded the family of the deceased police officer who gave his life to safeguard. Now, and what did the police do? The police spokesman went and said, this is an accident, and they never targeted the High Court judge. Now, this is the country where sometimes even that kind of situation where a police officer is killed, the police spokesman says something completely different. Contrary.
Yeah, but this is the kind of tosh that gets up people.
So therefore, I believe we must really praise Mr. Ilanchalian and the other team of other judges. They are from Jaffna and other places, and also the Aegis Department and also the Criminal Investigation Department.
Very good. However, what I really want to know is, now that we are more or less through with the judgment and so on, subject to appeal, the defence lawyer says he's going to appeal, which is their right. But now that we're through with that part, what is going to happen to these people who have been meddling and trying to distort that investigation?
Yeah.
We have a senior DIG.
Yeah, senior DIG.
Now, what on earth, a senior DIG, for him to act the way he did in sort of meddling, surely somebody somewhere higher than him must have told him, or there was some other reason.
Yeah,
now, what can happen to all that?
This senior DIG acted in the manner he had been acting. Most senior police officers have been acting under the previous regime. They were told over the phone what to do with the investigation and what not to do with the investigation. They were told even to go and murder prisoners in the Vatican prisons. And so therefore, I mean, I think the DIG forgot that the government has changed. And there's new president in this
in the heat of the moment, he forgot.
Yeah, I forgot. And then he went out of his way to lick the boots of these politicians and others to safeguard this man,
a criminal
who was trying to go out of the country and who did this for the purpose of selling a porn video. Can you imagine this? And then also we must commend the department. They saw this. They saw the incriminating evidence and gave orders to arrest the DIG and produced him in court. Produced him. And then, therefore, it is very, very important that not only the DIG, if the DIG has revealed any politician who spoke to him, and if the other investigation revealed that, then those people also must be produced in court. Because otherwise you cannot get politicians to get them to resign. This lady, Mrs. Mahendran, is a member of the UNP. And what is Ranil Wickremesinghe going to do about
Now, there's a question coming in from one of our viewers, and do send your questions in. It's 0772 300 305. A card should appear on your screen. 0772 300 305. Thank you, producer. There you go. Now then, here's a question. Somebody's asking, what would happen if suspects decline to give evidence, like those appearing before the Bond Commission? The question is, what would happen if the suspects in this murder case decline to give evidence, like those now appearing before the Bond Commission?
The suspects decline to give evidence will have an adverse effect on them. There is the famous Edinburgh principle, where the right of silence is accepted, but the right of silence goes adverse to him, and that will show that the prosecution has proved the case beyond reasonable doubt, where he had nothing to say. So that the Bond Commission and the right of an accused remain silent, two different. Bond Commission, I believe, erred when they said that the accused have the right to remain, not the right to witness.
Self-incrimination rule. Right, wonderful. Now then, so who is going to do what in terms of investigating this role? We have this, Vidya Kala Maheshwaran's actions. Then we have the senior DIG's actions. What's going to happen? Who is going to prosecute here? What's going to happen? We can't let it just be swept under the carpet.
I believe we have got a team of officers in the Aegis department who has the power to examine the evidence against these politicians and the DIG. DIG is already arrested and produced in court, and I think he is in remand, and to prosecute them. It is the Aegis department who will give directions to the CID to make investigations. Of course, if the investigation doesn't show any evidence, I mean, it's very, very wrong to arrest a person without any evidence. But if there is evidence, they must be produced in court. So we have, at the moment, with a young team of the juniors, the second level of team of officers, absolute faith in them.
Right. Now then, thank you. Now we want to move on a little bit. Let's touch on a bit of international news that has been coming our way. One, of course, is the wonderful news that the only country in the world where ladies, the fairer sex, if you like, are not allowed to drive, has now fallen by the wayside when His Majesty, the King of Saudi Arabia, has ruled that ladies in his country will be allowed to drive. So well done to His Majesty there. I think it's going to all happen since June. I don't know what's going to happen to the rate of little bumps, because, you know, ladies and all that. But no, great news. Now then, the other thing, of course, is that the governor of the central bank, Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy, says that the tax regime is rather distorted, with 82% in taxes coming from indirect means and only 18% directly. And he's taking steps, he says, to change that to where indirect taxes will be no more than 40%. Good luck to Dr. Indrajit on that one. Now then, the other bit of international news will lead us back to Sri Lanka, and that is the news that the former Thai Prime Minister, Miss the Shinawatра's sister, has been sentenced in absentia to 5 years in jail for her part in mishandling a rice subsidy scheme that cost, they say, approximately $8 billion. Now then, that was for mishandling a scheme, and she, as the head of the cabinet, is being held responsible. It was, of course, she's not in the country. She's done she's slipped out. I think she's gone out to have her medical situation attended, shall we say. Anyway, the main problem here, the main thing here, Hemanta, is the Thai Prime Minister is being sentenced to 5 years for mishandling some scheme. Okay. Now we have Arjuna Mahendran, the former governor of the central bank, who at COPE said that he was only carrying out the orders of the Prime Minister, Ranil Wickremesinghe, and we have Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe making a statement in Parliament on the 17th of March 2015 that it is he who asked for the system of the bonds, the way the bonds were issued, to be changed. The Auditor General says that that system, as ordered by the Prime Minister, was not the least cost system, and we now know that it has cost us much more money than it should have. Therefore, in my layman's mind, the Prime Minister has mishandled some situation. Yeah. What chances are there for somebody in Sri Lanka to go to court and get our Prime Minister held to account? Yeah. Like Miss Shinawatra in Thailand.
Mr. Faraz, Thai law is quite different to Sri Lankan law.
Okay.
Thai law, even the Supreme Court, there are very serious allegations against the Supreme Court for being politically biased, being run by the royal family, being run by the elites of this country. What Shinawatra did was absolutely no wrong. What she did was she wanted to help his people by increasing the rice subsidy, yes, so that they would benefit. Yes. They are very poor. And then there was a huge political support for her. Now, but then the manner in which the
Sri Lanka she would
the Supreme Court handled was I cannot condone that. But here in Sri Lanka, there is much more evidence to show the involvement of various politicians, even the Prime Minister, whether they were involved in the bond scam, whether they gave directions, whether the money was for the party fund, I do not know. But my position is that nothing will happen to the Prime Minister or to the other ministers. If you believe that it could happen, I can tell you now, prophecy that nothing is going to happen. Why? Because Maitripala Sirisena, the President, has shown he is beholden to the Prime Minister, Ranil Wickremesinghe. When he was away, how Ranil Wickremesinghe mustered 2/3 majority to postpone the elections. Maitripala Sirisena, I am very sorry to say in this channel, need I respect very much, was not in favor of elections, neither the Prime Minister. Now, the Prime Minister, recently he came back from US and praised the Prime Minister for having mustered 2/3 majority and got this election postponed. My position is that this is a very, very sad state of affairs. Even if the bond scam, even this irrepressible the spirit of the Intelligence Department, which has been lauded by every single citizen of this country, might go astray, might show that there is a connection, but whether even the commissioners would summon the Prime Minister, whether the commissioner would summon the other politicians whose names have transpired, the matter of conjecture, I do not know. But even if that was done, whether they'll take the steps to implicate the Prime Minister, I do not know, because especially with the Attorney General going to Parliament and making a declaration that the amendment to the bill to postpone elections was indeed lawful. Now this is, so therefore the Attorney General who has been dilly-dallying and who have been subverting the justice system by making this statement, we are appalled that we have a lot of respect for him. We thought he's good, he'll be a different Attorney General, but what he has done. So therefore, ultimately, whatever the Appula Livera, whatever Sasanta Koda does, the Attorney General will have to take a decision. The Attorney General decision is very, very important. So therefore, do not have any hopes of the politicians being involved. We might have to wait till a change of government for them to be incarcerated.
So what you're saying is, you might, if we are going to wait to see if any of our politicians are going to be prosecuted for their role in the bond scam, in what the Attorney General's Department has described as the greatest financial scam since independence to afflict the people of Sri Lanka, then we're in for a long wait. That's what you're saying? So you're going to be like waiting for Godot.
The bond scam, take for instance the matters involving, the facts involving Vijayakala Mahendran in this heinous murder case, gang rape a girl for the purpose of obtaining material for a porn film. Now, what has the and these things have been disclosed, these things have been discussed.
What has going to happen?
Whether I don't know whether even a statement of Vijayakala was recorded. So therefore, whatever the people in Daphne thinks, Vijayakala will be saved by the intervention of the political masters.
Now then, we mustn't forget, we're getting sorry, we're getting loads of SMSs in, which is very good news. Thank you very much. Keep them coming. We got one of them says that don't forget the rugby player's murder, Wasim Tajuddin. One of the people who've been questioned or who's featuring in this investigation has Yoshita Rajapaksa has been given permission to go abroad for an elder tournament or for some other sort of I don't know. It doesn't sound right. Then we have the role of Amarasena Naika. And I want to congratulate you, actually, Mr. Anakulasuri, for your wonderful position, for your stand about postponing elections. That's absolutely central to the theme. I know, and then we're bringing this in here, because on the one hand, we have the Supreme Court who's said that you can't postpone elections. That's it. And on the other side, we have the government who've done something quite good, which is to try and increase the participations of women in local government. However, that is now being perceived by the same public whose franchise, the opportunity of franchise has been delayed, because they are using that to postpone elections.
For us, this is the worst action taken by the government was supposed to deliver good governance, to kill the democracy in this country. I am greatly saddened by this decision of the Parliament, decision of the Prime Minister, decision of the government to subvert the decision of the Supreme Court and then postpone election.
Why? What's the delay? What's the delay?
I mean, I would say before I begin my discussion on this matter, I must thank people like you, Faraz, for having got this bond scam going, and also like journalists like Mr. Prabhat Sahabandhu, editor of Island. Now, yesterday's editorial, I think everybody in Sri Lanka should buy a copy of the island or go to the internet and read the editorial. It's a magnificent editorial. It says, what we witnessed last Wednesday was, not put too fine a point on it, gang rape of democracy. Now, Vidya was gang raped by 7 or 10 accused, and what we have witnessed was the gang rape of democracy. The Bar Association of Sri Lanka has frowned on the manner in which Yahapalana government secured the passage of the Provincial Council Elections Amendment Bill. It has just issued media statement inveighing against the government for contravening the due legislative process. Now, the only safeguard we have today is an independent judiciary. I think we are very, very proud to have a person like Mr. Priyasad as the Chief Justice of this country, and his other brothers whom universally accepted as very great, honorable, independent men. And I believe when he and another judge decided that the amendment to the 20th amendment of the Constitution was against the right of the people to vote, franchise, postponement of elections cannot be condoned by any means. Therefore, we should go before referendum. Now, what happens? This government are frightened of the people. They cannot go before the people. Neither can they go face an election. So, therefore, it's a utter shame when this bill was presented. I mean, the manner in which they amended 1 page, one gazetted page.
That's right, 1 page became 30 pages.
33 pages.
Yes, so what on earth was the speaker doing? What was he doing?
The action of the speaker when the matter was presented, read out, and then they didn't have the 2/3 majority. The speaker agreed to adjourn the proceedings until they found a 2/3 majority. I mean, this is shocking.
Absolutely shocking.
I mean, I thought the present speaker, Mr. Karu Jayasuriya, was the greatest gentleman in that forum.
There can't be gentlemen in politics.
I'm shocked how they postponed it, because they were under the impression they wanted. This is exactly what the last government did. Of course, they had the 2/3 majority. They wanted, by hook or crook, to present this bill
it's shameful.
and show the finger at the Supreme Court. Look here, whatever you do, we can do better. And the whole legislative process where a person, where our freedom is guaranteed. When people go to the Supreme Court, number of lawyers have gone to the Supreme Court. They file petitions. I don't think they are even paid. They go and fight these fanciful amendments to the Constitution, which is against the Constitution, and then they plead their cause before the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court, after so many days of deliberation, decides that this amendment is contrary, ultra vires of the Constitution. And what did the legislature do? What did Ranil Wickremesinghe, the lawyer, and who have been in this for I think
40 years. 40 years. 23 of them as leader of the United National Party.
He uses a method which was used only once before, where by accident in a criminal law amendment they brought in a certain provision which is completely contrary to the principle. And then that same principle was adopted, and they brought in 33 amendments. I mean, this is ridiculous. And some of the amendments, the manner in which you'll be shocked, the leader of the party has absolute discretion even to nominate any person who wins the election. He can even refuse to nominate the people who wins the elections. So therefore, the party leader becomes the absolute dictator. Ranil Wickremesinghe is already dictator. He'll have more power. Even if you win, election,
I think
it will out.
we'll have to discuss this entire matter on forthcoming Monday at 9:30 on Face the Nation on TV1, and we'll have to discuss this over 2 hours.
Yeah.
And they'll be on the phone to you soon to confirm your participation. Do agree. But in the meantime, you know, this half an hour has fast evaporated.
I'm sorry.
I
not even started my discussion.
There you
on
are.
This.
There you are. You see how time flies.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got, you've hogged the mic today. So, but it doesn't matter. Wonderful. Thank you for your stance. Up front and open. You heard it first on Newsline. Thank you, Hemantawana Kulisuriya. And that's the way it is from Newsline on Thursday, the 28th of September 2017. Take care and God bless.
News First, Newsline with